The following video is brought to you by T. Alan Diaz's Lunatic City series. Take a walk on the dark side of the moon with the first installment of this gritty sci-fi noir for just 99 cents. Link in the description below.
The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
So I spent the last few days thinking about the new Halloween film, and while disappointing is too harsh of a word to describe my feelings, conflicted is too weak. Unlike a lot of YouTubers who are throwing out Halloween reviews, I'm not doing so because it's popular, and I'm not acting unimpressed because it's the hip thing to do. Halloween 2018 is the film I've been waiting for since its initial announcement. John Carpenter's Halloween is my favorite horror film. Not only do I rank it as the best horror film of all time, I put it in a category of genre films that transcend said genre and become just a great film on its own. The 1978 classic is incredible on all fronts. From the cinematography to the score, Halloween is the example of independent filmmaking done right. I am not alone in this. The film went on to make tens of millions of dollars off a $320,000 budget, and it really elevated the slasher genre. Some say it created it, but Black Christmas beat it to the punch by 4 years. Halloween's success spawned 10 sequels, many dumb, but today we're here to talk about the newest film in the Halloween saga, and why I left the theater wondering what the big deal was. The best analogy I can think of to describe why I didn't like this film lies in the credits. The first film's opening opened with a jack-o'-lantern's light flickering while John Carpenter's incredible theme is played over the credits. It slowly zooms into the pumpkin's eye as the theme hits its peak. The new film does all the same things but faster. The theme is there, the Halloween font is there, the pumpkin is there. Sort of, but it lacks the atmosphere that requires an attention span to build. If that was too vague, what I'm trying to say is that this movie has all of the elements of Halloween except one: the suspense. Halloween lives and dies by the suspense. Michael Myers, the shape, lurks in the shadow, kills in the darkness, and is rarely seen in between. This movie removes that element from his character. He goes from the boogeyman to an escaped mental patient. We see him literally walk the streets of Haddonfield, allowing himself to be hit by a car. Everything that made him special has been removed. The superficial elements that horror fans love are there, but it lacks the substance he had in that first film. Everything that made him the unstoppable evil. I believe that this comes from the lack of John Carpenter's presence. He may have consulted and received a credit, but his fingerprints aren't on this film. This isn't John Carpenter's Halloween, it's just Halloween 2018. And like most modern remakes / retelling / cash grabs, it lacks the intangible it factor. Another element this film is sorely lacking is the presence of Donald Pleasence's Dr. Sam Loomis. Dr. Loomis plays such an integral part into the story that these films overlook. Halloween wasn't the story of Michael Myers versus Laurie Strode. It is the story of Michael Myers versus Dr. Loomis. Loomis was the Van Helsing to Michael Myers' Dracula. Michael is the monster and Loomis is the monster hunter. Laurie Strode was just the final victim. This is why I think this film lacks the magic of the first two films. They've taken the traditional story of good versus evil and made it a survivor's tale. While that sort of story is praised by today's critics, it won't hold up as well as Halloween 78's does. Good versus evil always plays. It's something that we all understand at our most basic levels. This film has that to a degree, but these new characters lack the conviction that Dr. Loomis had. The replacement, Dr. Sartain, is a shell of a character that exists to create a plot twist that is neither compelling nor shocking. Most of the other characters aren't much better. I won't list them all, but Laurie's family is underwhelming to say the least. The children of Haddonfield are hollow, and the podcasters as well as most of the police are just victims for Michael Myers. The standout character of the film was Julian, played by Jabril Nantambu. He was the voice of the audience and gave a hell of a performance. The big question on all of your minds is, how was Jamie Lee Curtis? Awesome as always. Jamie Lee Curtis didn't miss a beat here. None of my problems from this film came from her. It was the characters around her that failed to elevate this thin story. Speaking of, this story is chock full of callbacks to Halloweens of the past. Much like the follies of modern Star Wars, Halloween makes the same mistakes. They confuse callbacks as replacement for a story. Just because the audience sees a silver shamrock mask doesn't mean that the characters can be hollow victims whose only purpose is to be lined up to be slaughtered by Michael Myers. In the first film, each victim had a purpose and a reason why they were there. While Bob, Linda's boyfriend, seems to be the least fleshed out of the victims, his death at least came from a situation of the wrong place at the wrong time. His new characters seem to be killed only for the purpose of moving the story along in a somewhat entertaining fashion. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't entertained by the kills. They were much more brutal than we're used to. That's one element of the film I was happy with. Michael Myers doesn't give a shit. He will kill any and all. He even kills a little gay boy after escaping his bus crash. The kills worked well in this film, but the connective tissue required to build a good story just wasn't there. An element that was there and in full force was the music. For weeks I've been enamored with the soundtrack for this new film. While watching the film, that excitement never left me. This is one of the best soundtracks I've heard all year. It was incredible to hear the theme be updated for 2018. Maybe I'm a sucker for that piano/synth combo, but it worked for me. I'm strongly considering buying the physical release of the soundtrack. It was just that good. I've done my best not to spoil the film in any way for anyone who hears this review. While I was not as satisfied as I wanted to be with Halloween 2018, I can't honestly tell anyone to skip it. If you have a cursory knowledge of the first film, you will like it, but if you're a fan of the original and looking for a worthy follow-up, just stick to Halloween 2. It's a better film. So like I told you guys, we're back to doing our single release video, so if you like this one, give it a thumbs up, share it, and tell everyone about World Class Bullshitters. We're on our push for 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We already hit 75,000, so why not in the final 2.5 months? Anything's possible. So just tell everyone about this channel, and if you're a super fan, join our Patreon page. $1 a month goes a long way. $5, which is only 17 cents a day, goes even further. It gives you access to roundtable discussions, exclusive content, and all kinds of extra perks the higher you go up in the tiers. If you can't afford that, not a problem. Just join our Facebook page, hang out, share memes, get involved with the community. That's what World Class Bullshitters is all about. So I'll be back later in the week with more exclusive content here on World Class Bullshitters. So thank you for watching and have a good one.